Jasmine Wambui, CitizenTV.
Now, related to that, I want us to go back to the various data points of focus this evening, which is about the fuel prices. Let's begin by looking at the historical fact in as far as the trends in fuel prices. You'll see that back in July 2024, which is a year ago, the fuel prices were at 188.84 shillings. This would appear the highest over the last 12 months. They stayed there through September 2024, then started to decline to 180.6 shillings in October 2024. They stayed there for 2 months. Then in December 2024, we were down again to 176.29 cents, and we stayed around that range up to March of 2025, when the price of a litre of super petrol in Nairobi was 176 shillings 58 cents. In April, this went down further to 174 shillings 63 cents, and went down further in May, or rather remained at the same point. But in June 2025, the prices started to go up to 177.32 cents, and now in July the announcement has been that a litre of petrol will retail at 186 shillings 31 cents. Now let's focus on what exactly constitutes the price of a litre of petrol in Nairobi. So the landed cost, that is the amount at the point it's getting into the country, is at 81 shillings 88 cents. So put that figure in mind, because the ultimate price at the pump is 186, which is more than 105 shillings later. Now the storage and distribution cost is 4.7 shillings. The oil and marketing companies' margins are 17 shillings 39 cents. The taxes and levies account for 82 shillings 82 shillings 33 cents. So look at that. You're talking about landed cost at 81 shillings. Taxes and levies at 82 shillings 33 cents, ending up at 186 shillings 31 cents. Let's focus how that behaves. Again, still in Nairobi, these are the percentages. Look, the landed cost is at 81 shillings 22 cents. The taxes account for 101% of that particular cost, meaning it's more than the same figure. Then the handling and margins account for just 27% of the cost, and these are figures based on April statistics. Then let's focus on what else. Let's break down the margins as reported by April. So the importers, the wholesale margin was at 4 shillings 20 cents in May 2024. In July 2025, it has gone up to 6 shillings 14 cents. The dealers' margin, these are the retailers and operational margins, was at 8 shillings 19 cents in May last year. It is now at 11 shillings 25 cents. So there's an increment of the total margins from 12 shillings 39 cents to 17 shillings 39 cents in Nairobi for a litre of super petrol. If you look at kerosene and diesel, the margins are almost the same, just a difference of a few cents. That's how the figures are looking. And Martin will be helping us understand, especially those trends that we're witnessing. But first, Chepkoreil, tueleze, unapofanya biashara ambapo unauza bidhaa katika soko la Gikomba, ni vipi ongezeko la bei za mafuta zimeweza kuathiri biashara yenu, hasa ukiangazia miaka 2 au 3 iliyopita?
Ama kweli Sam, tukiangalia biashara jinsi inavyoenda chini, inategemea mafuta. Kwa sababu tunapochukua mizigo, kwa mfano Mombasa, umechukua roli, yule mtu wa roli imepandishwa sahi na 10,000 juu ya ile pesa ambayo ilikuwa nakuja nayo Nairobi. Hapo kuna uwezekano pia yule anayeniuzia apandishe ile mzigo kwa 2,000. Kwa mfano nilikuwa nanunua mzigo kwa shilingi 12,000. Pale nitauziwa 15,000. Faida ile mzigo ilikuwa 2,000. Ambapo nitalipa chama, nilipe pia taxes ambayo tunalipa kila siku. City Council tunalipa kila siku, tax tunalipa kila siku shilingi 50. Kwa wiki moja unaiona ni shilingi 300. Kuanzia Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa. Kwa hivyo mimi naonelea hii mafuta ingeendelea kuwa angalau wapunguzie, wajue vile serikali itarudisha mafuta ikue chini, kwa sababu kama Gikomba imeajiri vijana waliohitimu kimasomo na wasiohitimu, wamama wajane. Vijana peke yake hatukosi kama 3,000 hatukosi vijana kama 3,000 ambao wamesoma, wako na degree zao, lakini hawana ajira. Wamejiajiri wenyewe kama brokers Gikomba. Kwa hivyo Gikomba ni mama imebeba watoto wa wazazi wengi sana. Inazuia hata uwizi, imezuia mambo mengi. Njoo hii biashara ikuwe nzuri. Vijana
unaposema kwamba kuna taxes za 50 shillings, unamaanisha nini? Ni nani anakota hiyo kodi?
Kodi inaokotwa na City Council. Tulikuwa tunalipa mara 2 kwa wiki. Lakini tunastaajabu, ilikuja tu ghafla tukaanza kulika pa wiki. Kila siku shilingi 50. Kwa mfano mimi nina viwanja viwili. Kama nimeshikanisha mbele na nyuma. Sasa pale mbele itabidi nilipia 50 na hapa 50. Kwa hiyo hii ni shilingi 100. Nikilipia shilingi 100 kila siku ni shilingi 300. 600 kila siku. 600 kwa wiki. 600 kwa wiki. Sasa unakuja unaangalia kwamba ile pesa ambayo ungepata, tunasomesha wengine wetu kama mimi ni single mother. Tunasomesha watoto hapo, tunapata kulipa nyumba hapo. Mahitaji yote yanaenda kwa ile mzigo mmoja ambayo ungepata faida ya 1,500 ama ikienda zaidi 2,000. Lakini kwa sababu mafuta ilipanda juu, yule anayetuletea naye mzigo amepandishiwa rate ya mzigo ikue juu, nauli pia ikue juu, kodi ya kutoa kwenye port pia iko juu. Inabidi sasa ile mzigo tunakulia sasa, ilikuwa ni 1,500 tunaikulia 500. 500 lipa mfanyakazi 300. Wewe mwenyewe 200. Hiyo ndio tunasomeshia watoto. Kwa hiyo serikali ya Kenya, mimi nilikuwa naonelea tu ituonee huruma wafanye biashara kama hii kodi ya mtumba kama ingepunguzwa chini. Ipunguzwe tu na bei ya mafuta iende chini.
Okay. Na utakuwa ukitueleza jinsi customers wameathirika kutokana na hali ya mambo. But Martin, help us understand here, because if you look at the analysis there, I'm not able to spot the particular month that the margins rose from just over 12 shillings to 17 shillings. What informed that conversation? Yet when you look at the cost of a liter of petrol, or whatever commodity you're talking about, and knowing to whether the taxes are taking the lion's share of that price, what are you thinking as a player in the industry?
So when it comes to the margins of the dealers, what happened is that there's a study we call a cost of service study that is supposed to be done statutory by every 5 years. So the last one had been done in 2018 and it had taken time. Actually, most of the petroleum dealers were bleeding in hope because unfortunately, the misunderstanding is that petroleum is a very lucrative business and it's not lucrative to the dealers because of the controlled margins. So what happened is that most of the because of the inflation and the price of the cost of financing that has almost doubled since 2018, most of these dealers were not getting money. So what happened is that there had to be a study that would now bring them to where we are. But having said that, I feel that the industry, the way we are right now, we have gotten to a place where we have no shock absorbers. Because in proper economic planning, the state would plan against shocks. Because like now what we just experienced is because of a very simple issue that happened in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. And it was just a few days, a 12-day, but you can see the shock. So we need to be in a place where we can have strategic reserves planning in a way that we can cushion. You'll be shocked today to learn that if there be an issue, we cannot last more than a month in terms of
So help me understand here, because when you're breaking down the margins, you're seeing the importers, the wholesale margin at 6 shillings 14 cents. Is this
up from 4 shillings? Yes.
Is this what goes to the players in the G2G arrangement?
Yes. So what happens is when the products are imported and they get to the market, to Mombasa, the cost of the margins are divided into 3. So there's the importer's margin. So saying maybe Sam is the one who is doing G2G, so he's the one who is bringing it from ad hoc out there.
Yeah.
So you are given a margin. Then there's a person who have done the investment in the petrol station, the people who have done those investments, because most of them do not belong to those labels that we see, the franchise we see.
Yeah.
So that they have the other margin. And then the third margin goes now to the dealer, the person running that petrol station.
So the 6 shillings is being shared by the player in the G2G as well as the local ally.
So there is the 6 shillings, that is the player in the G2G. Then there is another one with the player at the pump and the one for the investment. So that's how you end up with 17 point something.
So wait, 6 shillings is purely to the dealer.
To the dealer.
The 11 shillings 25 cents is now.
The 11 now is shared between the dealer and the investor, the person who has built the petrol station.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Mheshimiwa, when you look at those prices, that the taxes and levies exceed the landed costs, how do you explain this? Because it looks like the government is just using the commodity for sourcing of revenue.
I think I want to pick it from where Martin has left it. What is happening is when you look at the way the pricing is categorized, you realize that taxes and levies are taking the lion's share.
Right.
And what is happening is basically the government would want to ensure that their share does not reduce at any point. So when there are adjustments because of external factors, international factors like what he has mentioned, the issue of the Middle East, the government will play around with the pricing so to an extent that their share does not change at all. But I think this matter of fuel price we have discussed many times, Sam. And what we are saying is, as a country, we know very well that we don't produce oil.
It's true.
On the basis of that, it means always we'll be importing oil. Now, in such a scenario, what we need to do is we need to think about how can we then build up some reserves. Could it be through storage, so that when things happen like they have happened in the Middle East, then we can delay the immediate impact of on pricing. In that case, then it means we'll now be good at planning. And I think that's an element we have not gotten it well. The other point which is critical is what Bitters has said. You know, Bitters ameongea juu ya pricing more for transportation of goods.
Right.
The impact on it. There are other 2 areas ambazo hajaongea juu which are critical. Kuna ile usafiri wa wananchi sasa.
Right.
Wenye utapanda.
Commuting.
Na kuna ile sasa mambo ya production cost for our factories. Because our factories and industries are so much dependent on also the same. So that at the end of the day, what will happen is, usafiri utaongezeka, bei ya bidhaa more likely itapanda because sasa wanatumia mafuta kutengeneza hizo bidhaa. Now, the most serious impact on that, Sam, and this is why Kenyans need to be concerned. Now, this increase of pricing is going directly to affect the same minimum disposable income which we have as a country. So, assuming I have 10 shillings remaining for me after all the deductions,
right,
it means now bei ya gari imepanda, bei ya bidhaa imepanda. So what will happen is, as a rational human being, I have to think about what do I then change from my normal patterns of consumption to accommodate this change. And that's why now the issue of the gas and the fuel is coming in. Gas and petrol.
Right.
And you know, people are becoming more innovative. And you remember what I told you the other day is because there's that need to make sure that you still survive. You become more innovative.
Okay.
So very soon we'll see now the price of gas because the demand for gas is now going to increase. So what will happen very soon, the price of gas are going to increase again. So it's a circle.
All right.
At the end of the day, what happens is there's a very important question, and before I conclude, allow me to say this. The question of where is the money is a very important question. You mentioned 3 points, but I think the other 2 points you didn't mention, which is critical. If Kenyans were stealing, as it's been said, and the corruption index today said it.
Right.
If Kenyans who are stealing were investing in this economy, they will be helping this economy grow. But obviously they're not investing here. The other bit is, if the money the government is borrowing from our domestic market, competing with the private sector, was being invested in productive sector, it will be helping the economy grow. So these are the critical questions we need to ask ourselves. Are we borrowing to invest in productive sector? Or are we borrowing to consume?
Okay.
And those who are stealing, can they invest in Kenya so that they help the economy grow?
And we'll talk about that because later on we'll be looking at the state of jobs, because we're seeing from the statistics that the creation of new jobs is actually on a decline over the last 5 years, if you have to compare with the previous 5 years. But Dr. Rugo, so then, still on the question of the pricing of the commodity, petroleum product itself, how can we, is it even possible, reduce the demand of the government from the liter of petrol? Because it looks like it's the only way we can reduce the price. Because the margins, as he says, the study shows they have to get it. The cost of the commodity, we don't manufacture our own, we don't produce our own. How do we talk about the taxes and levies?
Good. Allow me to pick that point from just what I said earlier. When you look at the EPRA website, that is the Energy and Petroleum Regulation Authority website, you will take note of the number of licenses and the number of, by the way, if you break down those taxes and levies, you will notice there are about, I think, 5 or 6 of them. Now, behind each of the levies that we have in this country, or several of them, there is an organization. That organization is basically what we are talking about, an agency in government. What basically are we saying? That what is killing our business environment, which is what I want to say will be the way forward, is that we have created so many agencies and institutions that basically are just doing almost related work. You know? Because that's critical. I think the way forward is to say, can actually some of these organizations, when you think about, the different levies, the different agencies, can everything, for instance, be merged under the energy and regulatory petroleum authority, so that then you are actually collapsing all these different levies for the different purposes. That's the first thing. The second thing is we seem to have appreciated we have a problem, only that now we seem to have even pushed it even further. And this is concerning the securitization of the road maintenance levy fund. I am concerned that because we already have, the government has made a decision to borrow against future collections. Remember, the road maintenance levy fund collects, if I'm not wrong, is 25 shillings. 25 shillings per litre. Now, we have not only now decided that we are going to use it to maintain the current roads, we are actually borrowing against it. Using it as collateral for future collections.
And using it to clear pending bills.
Well, in theory. Because we have not even earmarked which pending bills that we want to clear with it. So I think the first step is to say, can we actually deal with the size of government? Because I think it all boils down to the size of government. The reports that I have read, including one recent report by the World Bank, says that the government size has increased so much and become so complex. These institutions that I'm talking about, if you were to count just in the energy sector, you will realize that we are talking of quite a number of organizations. All of them either which are using, for instance, electricity. We have the biggest source by any standards of renewable energy, whether you think about steam, geothermal, whether you think about wind, whether you think about sun, solar. But we are still depending on these independent power producing agencies that run on diesel and petroleum. And that cost again is plowed back. Both for forex adjustment. So I think for me is deal with the size of government. These institutions and the licenses, some of them I was checking, have up to 90 licenses for one process.
Wow.
It's all in the EPRA website. So for me, I think that's the way, that's a starting point before even we come to dealing with what do we do with the collateralizing money that is in the future. Because, and the last point is, for a product that we have no control of the price, I think it is wrong for us to be hedging on it as an income source for government.
A very important point. Of course, the taxes that he's talking about, there's the road maintenance levy of 25 shillings on a litre of petrol, petroleum development levy, 5 shillings 40 cents, petroleum regulatory levy of 75 cents, railway development levy of 1 shilling 46 cents, an anti-adulteration levy at the moment is 0 shillings for super petrol and diesel, but 18 shillings for kerosene. Merchant shipping levy of 0.03. What is that? That's not 3 cents. Or is it? 0.03 shillings. You know what?
Remember, it's per litre, and we are importing millions of liters.
We import 400 million liters a month.
Then there is import declaration fee of 1 shilling 82 cents. There's value added tax, that is VAT, of 24 shillings 46 cents. And of course, there's excess duty of 21 shillings 95 cents. So in total gives you 80 shillings 87 cents. So this conversation continues because, like I told you, we are having challenges on jobs that are being created. Of course, majority of them are in the informal sector, but 2024 recorded a decline in terms of new jobs. That's where we'll be heading to, especially after this break. When we come back, we have sports and then that conversation.
Terra Gardens by Username, just 20 minutes from Gongta.